So in the manifestation community, and especially in law of assumption, we hear a lot of talk about states and getting in the state of the wish fulfilled. But sometimes it can seem very abstract, very elusive, like how do we get into the state? And so the way I like to think of it is being like you're entering a magic portal. Only the portal isn't in your closet, like in Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe. It's the magic portal is within you. And what is a word or what is a feeling state that's going to help you to unlock that portal inside of you? And I had a big revelation when I was listening to the intro song to Grease. And I believe it's just called Grease, but the lyrics, the main lyrics are Grease is the word, Grease is the feeling, Grease is the motion. And really, probably one of the best opening credit sequences I've ever seen in a movie. It's this animated sequence. And it's just a really incredible song and an incredible sequence. And I became sort of fascinated with the song because I always like to look beneath the surface, and on the surface the lyrics, they seem a little bit silly or nonsensical, but I figure there has to be more to the picture, and I somehow became interested in learning the backstory behind the song too, which normally I don't do, but somehow in this case I just felt called to do it. And so it's written by Barry Gibb of the Bee Gees, and so he was instructed, or I guess commissioned to write this song, and he was just told to write a song about Grease, and but he wasn't really given that any instructions really beyond that, and so he was kind of stumped. And I'm always fascinated with the creative process as a creator myself, and we're all creators, right? And but I think the process of like writing or creating a piece of art, I think it could be a great analogy for our process of creating our desired reality. And sometimes, just like getting into the desired state, it can seem a little bit slippery, right? It can seem kind of abstract and elusive. And but then if we kind of go about it in a creative way, then then inspiration takes place, and then we can start to kind of shift and mold it. And so he took a walk, and so then he started kind of it occurred to him that it wasn't just about the actual word, right? The greasers, they put the grease in their hair, but it was beyond that. It was actually a place that he was conjuring up, a period, a moment in time. And so for him, it was all, well, not just for him, but the movie is trying to capture the nostalgia of the 1950s. And for him personally, that was also like a very special time and something he wanted to capture through the song. And so he used this feeling and he used this sentiment to kind of just to seep into the song and to bring the song to life. And so that was sort of like his entry point into how do I create this thing? How do I make this thing come to life? And so whether or not the lyrics of the song, whether or not this was the intention of Gibb, or in any case, I've talked about this before, whatever the person who wrote the song intended isn't really the point, right? The point is what we make of it as conscious creators. And for me personally, I think the song is like the lyrics of the song and the emotion behind it, right? Because it's all about that special sauce. And so I think it's the perfect blueprint for conscious creation, for manifestation. So I'm gonna grab my notebook right now because I want to read. I wrote down some of the lyrics that I want to read because I want to make sure I don't miss anything. And so one of the lines in the song is, I saw my problems and I saw the light. So that right there, I think is very powerful, right? That yes, you see your problems, you see that they exist, and it's all like a matter of perception anyway, right? But then you see the light. In other words, you see the deeper consciousness, the deeper truth that's at the heart of them. and that's at the heart of this very universe, at the heart of who you truly are. And it's something, yeah, it's something that goes far deeper than just any these circumstances that you're experiencing, whether it's inner or outer circumstances. It's really like at the root of who you truly are, and which is pure love, and which is also, as I've said before, the fabric that this universe is made of. And so then he says, so again, I'm looking, referring to my notebook, and so he says, this is a life of illusion, this is a life of control. And so, so on this, again, kind of like, just like the problems, right? We kind of are operating, we're all programmed from an early age to believe that we have no control, that we're powerless. So that's the illusion that we're living under. But once we begin, and again, this is a lyric from the song, to throw away conventionality. And so he says, we take the pressure and we throw away conventionality. And so we go against the grain. We go against what everybody, our teachers, our friends, our family, what everybody has told us from an early age is possible, or what is not possible. And so we throw all of those limiting beliefs away, and all of those limiting assumptions away, and we allow ourselves to be reborn into this light. And so this goes back to the idea of I see the light, right? The light of who you truly are, beneath all of these labels and all of these limiting ideas and assumptions. And so then he says, we start believing now that we can be who we are. So that right there is so powerful, so inspiring. And that you can be who you are, who you truly are, your true I am presence. And so then and I want to kind of focus on this this lyric too. He says, Greece is the word, it's the place, it's the way that we're feeling. And so so to me, that's when you're trying to unlock something, when you're trying to get into that state, and you're trying to access something that feels inaccessible for whatever reason. It feels elusive, it feels like you just can't get to it. And for him, he felt like writing the song was elusive. And I can definitely relate to that as a writer. And at one point in my early days as a copywriter, I was actually instructed to write an ad, like a really short Craigslist ad, and write it 70 different ways. And so it was like basically taking the same ad and the same content, but writing it just kind of slightly varying, like the tone and the writing style 70 different times. And I thought, well, how am I going to do this? And this seems impossible, but you find a way, right? And the more you start kind of diving into it and playing around with it, things start coming to you, right? And sometimes, and to me, it almost kind of like mirrors his kind of creative, and again, this is me reading into it as a creator, and you can read into it what you like, but to me, this is kind of reading into it, his creative process, where you just kind of like say something over and over again. Okay, Greece is the word. And then from there, more ideas start to spring out of that. And so for you, when you're trying to kind of conjure up, trying to get into the state of your wish fulfilled, you can kind of, think of it as playing, right? And you're just kind of playing around with it, and you're just seeing what fits best, what feels best to you when you try it on. And because I like to think of this all just as playing, right? Because that kind of takes some of the gravity out of it, right? Some of the seriousness out of it. And we're just kind of like playing around with reality creation and having fun with it, and seeing what fits and what can come out of us, and seeing how we can become more of who we truly are. And so the Greece is the word, Greece is the, sorry, I have to refer back to my notes. it is the place, the feeling, right? And so this goes back to kind of what I said. I don't remember if it was in this video or another video, but yeah, just kind of thinking it could be all three, right? It could be a word, a place, and a feeling that you associate with your the state of your wish fulfilled. And so for me, that feeling and word, the two kind of go hand in hand, right? The word describes the feeling, and so the word is expansive. And so then I think of how many different ways can I get to that place? Can I get to that place of expansiveness? And so writing is one way. Visualizing a scene in my head, and so the scene that I spoke of in the other video of Griffith Park in Los Angeles for me is a very inspiring scene, and it could be anything. Nature in general, I think, can be has very expansive qualities. So visualizing an ocean, or visualizing a mountain range, or visualizing skyscrapers in a city, that can be also very expansive as well. Whatever lights you up, I think that's really what it comes down to. So that's what I want to leave you with, is really just finding what it is that lights you up and honoring that each and every day. And that, to me, is how you get in the state